In this video, we're going to be talking about the 5 massive revenue streams from these battery swap partnerships that NIO was not talking about. There's actually 6, all right? Now, a big concern amongst investors is that they did not put any monetary number with these swap partnerships. How is NIO going to be earning money from these partnerships? That has concerned a lot of investors, making them think and doubt these partnerships, potentially even thinking that these partnerships are bad. Well, I tell you, these partnerships are exactly why you should be super mega bullish, all right? And from the available information, these are the 6 sources of revenue that they will be extracting out of these partnerships, and these are massive, all right? So number 1 is the straight up partnership fee, otherwise patent fees, all right? We're going to work together and I want to use your technology. Of course, you got to pay them a little bit of money straight up. It's not going to be a whole lot, okay? But it's definitely not nothing. And this is, of course, going to be ongoing every year just so that they can work together. Sort of like how Android phones, they sign these contracts with Qualcomm to use their chips, and that has a monetary value associated with it. But this is definitely not one of the big revenue generators. One of the big revenue generators will be number 2, and that is, of course, selling the Alps battery to the partners. Every time the partner wants to build a car that can do battery swap, they will need to use NIO's sub-brand Alps's battery pack. So they gotta buy it from NIO. And of course, if you gotta buy it from NIO, there's a sale. So for every vehicle sold that can do battery swap, they have to buy the battery pack from NIO. This is where a lot of the money is gonna come in from, all right? So every car built, every EV built that can do battery swap under this partnership, NIO's gonna get some money from the battery sale. They're going to be buying it from NIO. This is sort of like how with every single Android phone that uses a Qualcomm chip that you build, you're going to have to buy the chip from Qualcomm. You pay them a little bit of money, whether it's like 40 or 50 bucks for the chip, for the actual chip. And of course, the more you sell, the more you have to pay up. That means even if for some magical reason, NIO stopped selling cars, they would be earning revenue off of every EV built that can do battery swap under this partnership. Revenue stream number 3. This partnership, all right, with these companies entails that some of these battery swap stations will be built by the partners, and also, of course, NIO will also build some of these swap stations as well. Now, for the swap stations that are built by the partners, they will have to buy the components off of NIO, the swap station parts, the batteries as well, right? Every swap station will probably have at least 20 batteries. So NIO gets paid 20 times for all the components. Now remember, NIO has 2 factories making swap stations, all right? They're not going to build another factory just for the public swap stations with the partnerships. No, it's coming out of NIO's factory for the swap stations. So of course, NIO gets that money from the partners for the swap station parts, all right, for the swap station. And then that leads us to revenue stream number 4. Of course, assembly. All the swap station parts come from NIO. Of course, NIO is going to have to assemble it for them, aka they pay NIO to assemble and build that swap station up. Number 5. Now, with these partner swap stations, the partner owns the swap station, all right, but NIO operates them. That's what the CEO said. Because of NIO's power energy cloud network, able to tell cars how many batteries are at every swap station, how far you are, placing down orders, all of that stuff, all right? And then planning out navigation routes with swap station, that is all done in the cloud, all right? So you have to get NIO to operate the swap station for you. And of course, you have to pay NIO to operate the swap station for you. So there's another stream of revenue, all right? And number 6, obviously, every single swap that happens at these partnership swap stations, the majority of the revenue will go to the whoever owns the swap station, but a sliver of it will go to NIO, of course. Now, NIO already has a few of these swap stations where NIO isn't the owner of those swap stations. It's somebody else, like you and me, like just a normal person. All right, they decided to invest in a swap station. So they own the swap station, but of course, NIO operates it. Okay, if you don't get NIO to operate it, you can't get the orders. It just doesn't work. All right, the best way to think about this is sort of like McDonald's. Sure, you have another person that's the owner of that franchise, but overall, if you look at it from the outside, it's McDonald's, right? Now, if you look at the latest deal that they signed with the Hefei government and the traffic police, like what? But they said that there's the commitment to build 1,000 energy storage charge swap stations. So it's all in one station, and they're going to build 1,000 of them. Where do you think the chargers and all the swap station stuff comes from? All right. So that's already a monetary value right there, 1,000, the government paying for those swap stations. So if you look at the swap stations alone, all right, one swap station cost about 1.5 million RMB. The government's commitment to pay for 1,000 swap stations means that there's going to be 1.5 billion RMB in swap stations that are going to be deployed, all right, that are going to be paid for. And this is not even counting the charging stations that's going to be next to it. That is money that goes to NIO to build those swap stations. Of course, NIO will have to spend that money, but that's money, that's revenue flowing into NIO's pockets. But I hope you get the overall picture. With all these 6 revenue streams, it's other people paying NIO. All right, the risk for NIO is relatively low. Partnership fees, you just collect them. There's not much to it. Battery, selling the battery to the partners. You got to, of course, keep up with the demand and be able to produce those batteries. But those are like bulk orders. And if a partner says they're going to order 20,000 units, that's a done deal. It's not like selling cars. You build 20,000 cars, you might not sell it 20,000 cars. Swap station parts, they got 2 factories pumping out swap station. That's not going to be a problem at all right? Even if one factory encountered a hiccup, the other factory is going to be able to take over and build swap stations. Assembly cost, assemblies, I mean, they got so many engineers capable of doing that. It's just a piece of cake. They get it up in like less than 24 hours to assemble a swap station. Of course, with number 5, operating the swap station, there also isn't much risk involved because the operation level of the swap station is already tested and done with NIO's current swap stations. The system works, all right? The cloud system, everything, it works. There's no risk involved with that. And then swap fees, of course. People are going to swap. NIO's going to get paid. Partners going to get paid. There isn't much risk involved with that unless everybody stops swapping, which why would they buy a car that can swap if they don't want to swap? So there's relatively very low risk involved in every one of these sources of revenue. So keep that in mind. This is extremely bullish, much more profitable than selling cars, probably. All right, selling cars, you got to compete and price cuts, do all sorts of nasty stuff. You got to pay sales reps their bonuses. You got to pay rent for the stores. And then the cars might not even sell. This is definitely the right way to go. These partnerships are worth a lot of money, guys. There you have it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.